Hey everyone, I hope you're well. This is CoinsKid. Just going on to Bitcoin. We've got a CoinsKid cruise. So at the moment, Bitcoin's a bit boring, just basically snooze fest price action, isn't it? It's not very, appealing, basically. But I think a lot of these altcoins are, and I've been relaying this opportunity to you, the likes of XRP, Cardano, so on and so forth. Trump coin, we've had an amazing trade on Trump coin earlier in the week, right there, 30% move. We've not seen a 30% move on Bitcoin. And this is the volatility in the market where I do think, if you can spot trades on coins, for example, if we take a quick look at Chainlink right now, I think there's a potential trade here bubbling up. We'll look at the 15-minute time frame just there. I think there's a chance that we could see a bit of a violent move here for Chainlink to roughly 22,015. So from here right now, I know it's a Bitcoin video, I do apologise. But by the time I made this video, or tonight or whatever, we may see a 15% move here for Chainlink. And the reason is, if I quickly show you, and again, this is a Bitcoin video, I do apologise, on the 4 hour, if you take a look at the vast majority of charts, okay, here's the level of resistance off this beautiful flash, basically, the selling climax, in my opinion. That's what we're looking at right now. So just there, we've got this huge drop for Chainlink. But a lot of coins, if we drop the Cardano coin in right now, you can clearly see, go to type in ADA and go to new price to scale. You can see that if you take a look at Cardano, I'll try and move it out of the way so you can see it as best as I can right now. So if you take a look, the purple line is Cardano, and this particular price action index is Chainlink. So if we take a look at this structure right now for Cardano, it's already had that resistance, which is there, came back, which is basically there, and then it bolted, which is what this is coiling up right now. This is basically some kind of horizontal from the bottom, horizontal. So this may break into this level of resistance. So again, I just think there's more opportunity in these altcoins. If we take a quick look at Bitcoin right now, it's coiling up, it's bubbling up. At best, it might come up into the top of this range here. So from here right now, if it does break out and comes up, you're looking at around about 5% move, where you've got a 15% move on Chainlink. And this is why at this part of the market, this is where we are seeing these altcoins already given the greater appreciation, because this is the phase we are at in this market. For example, off this week low here for Bitcoin, I think a couple of Mondays ago, wasn't it, on 3rd of February right there, Bitcoin is up roughly 6.23%. But again, we just take a random coin like XRP, we'll take a look at that measurement from that wick low right there, you're up a whopping 50%. So this is what I'm saying to you, at this point in the market, this is where the greater opportunity is in the altcoins. And this is something I've been relaying since November last year. I said to you, I think Bitcoin's running out of steam here. Possibly goes to 117k, 150k, 200k, whoopie-doo, it's a double. We're looking at that on all these coins together. If we take a look at Cardano right now, off that wick low that it put in on Monday, so far, boom, 56%. So the proof's in the pudding that we may be on the cusp of a major alt season, and people just don't see it, but we're already seeing the fruits of the labour of the potential alt season that's in front of us. So what we want to see primarily is Bitcoin, and it really is simple, Bitcoin trending up and the Bitcoin dominance trending down. If we start to see that over the next couple of months, then alts are going to absolutely berserk here, and all they're doing is catching Bitcoin up. And this is something I've been looking at with yourselves for a very long time. So there are lots of opportunities. If you want to find opportunities on the micro or the macro, I've created an index for yourselves, basically using the sentiment of the market right now for each individual coin, because obviously there's metrics out there, there's indicators out there, but what they do, they look at the market as a whole. And what I've done, I've created the same metric but for individual coins. So for example, at the moment, XRP overextended, sell warning, it's a short up. If we go down the list, we've got a buy warning on the likes of Tron. So Tron's in the floor, so when it's in the floor, you buy more in a bull market. Really simple. So if you're looking for a big macro trade or a spot position on the crypto markets, all you got to do is go to CoinsKid.com, okay, go to macro zones and go to all coins. Really simple. Go down the list, and what you're looking for is anything right now that's got below neutral or buy warning on the macro. So we've got two indicators here, two sections. You've got micro greed and macro greed. Okay, so macro greed, if you're looking for a big spot position right now today, and you think Bitcoin's going to break out, you think we're in a continuation here, we're going to see a big move over the next few months, you don't necessarily want to buy Bitcoin, or XRP, because it's already a big move. So the macro greed is a representation of that. So come to CoinsKid.com, go to macro zones all, go down the list, and what you're looking for is buy warnings and obviously buying green, like this one, core. We've got one here below neutral. There are opportunities as well. We've got ZBC, we've got Room, we've got Jasmy. It's a massive list here. We've got a huge list. Buy warning on ASTR, NMT, and obviously do your own due diligence. But you know, if we are at the point where I think we are right now in this market, then you know, Bitcoin is potentially given it's all it's got to give, and altcoins, the lower caps especially, your macro green warning right there in buy zones and below neutral are the opportunities in this market. And again, you can just come to CoinsKid.com and find that, you know, them opportunities in the index right now. Let me dive into the Bitcoin dominance right now, and then the Bitcoin price action, see what's going on. Okay, so looking at Bitcoin dominance quickly, we've got the vertical here, the vertical green line, which is your halving date way back there in 2016. You've got one there in 2020, and right now we've got another one there last year in April. Okay, so typically within a year to a year and a half, we see a major drop in the Bitcoin dominance. So we're coming up. Possibly we're looking at something like that over the next few months, okay, leaning towards Q4. If we do start to see something like that, where we do see Bitcoin breaking out, continuing the trend to the upside, and we start to see a breakdown in dominance, then yeah, we've got the characteristics and the telltale signs that, you know, the cycle's over basically, like we've seen there and like we've seen there. And obviously what we're looking for primarily is a red sell dot, which is the opposite of Bitcoin season way back there in April 2023, trending above. Bitcoin's doing incredibly well. We nailed all the moves on Bitcoin, and then we're looking for a breakdown where we create a red sell dot like that, break down below the ribbon, boom, we drop in, and that's it. You know, we'll look for clues in the charts and data points and things like that, as well as the confluence in the waterfall in the Bitcoin dominance. That's it. Your cycle's over, and that should get our crypto card once we start to see the bottom in the dominance right there. Really, really simple. Okay, so there's equally another thing that happens in this particular cycle. In every single Bitcoin cycle, towards the end of the cycle, we see exactly one thing that we've not seen yet, which spells the end of the cycle, which is equally part of the confluence analysis, that I don't actually think this cycle was over. A lot of people say I'm too moonish, too bullish or whatever, and things like that, but I just relay the data to you. Please respect that. So I'm going to make a checklist on CoinsKid.com. I'll try and get it done. I go away for the week, but I'll try and get that done, and there's numerous things I'm looking for that spells the end basically. There's numerous things. So there's equally a couple of indicators that I create for the CoinsKid crew as well on the website. I'll show you them quickly. Okay, so I will get the checklist and I'll show you exactly where that's going to be on the website, but what we've got here is really simple. It's called sell the effing rip, STFR. So you can clearly see that the green line from the bottom last year is trending upwards, but once this green line touches the red line, which is your rip zone, that's it. That should get out a Bitcoin card. It did it in April of 2021, it did it in December of 2017, and then it did it equally in December of 2013, and it's not done it in this cycle. Now, whether or not the data's broken and it doesn't do it again, who knows, but this is purely data that I rely on this channel. Okay, I don't necessarily see any bearish market structure in the price structure for Bitcoin within itself. So, you know, again, just rely on the data. If we go parabolic, if Bitcoin starts to come up over the next few months, then I'll keep an eye on this green line for you, because once it enters a rip zone, that is, you get out a Bitcoin card right there. Now, what is the other thing that we do typically see for Bitcoin right towards the end of the cycle? Let me show you exactly what it is. Okay, so looking at Bitcoin on the 5-day time frame at the moment, my primary is that, you know, massive impulsive moves began there from 2018, basically come up an impulsive wave, corrective wave, and impulsive wave, and right now we're in a 5-wave move from this low here in 2022. So, you know, usually what we do see at the end of every impulse for Bitcoin, if I drop the total 2 chart into you right now, this is always the characteristics we see, and I'll change the color for you. We always see this sort of symmetry in you know, the market right now, which we just don't quite see yet. So it doesn't make me a permeable, but it is just something I'm looking for that we don't quite see in both of these charts. So basically, really simple, in this last impulse here, this huge impulse for Bitcoin, you can clearly see, if I zoom in on the 5-minute right now, at the top of this move here, this was your Bitcoin top in the candles, and then the orange line is your total 2, which is basically cryptocurrency market cap excluding Bitcoin. So as Bitcoin came down like this, so did total 2, but then total 2 broke out in what is alt season. At that point, you start to see Bitcoin coming up, and obviously the waterfall in the dominance right there, but total 2 was breaking out, it was going berserk. So your alt season was there, boom. End of cycle. Characteristics within the market. Bitcoin basically rallies, comes down the A, lower high B, rolls in the C. Total does this, comes up, does this, boom, boom, and then rolls. Okay, so we don't quite see it in the current time frame of the characteristics of that top, which was a 2017 bull market top. And then if we move to this impulse here, which is where I think this impulse was, we don't quite see it here either. We see this sort of drop for Bitcoin, the retracement, the A wave and the B for Bitcoin, and we're seeing total A and breakout, okay, which was the top in 2021. I actually think all of this and this move back up for Bitcoin and the total 2 is actually an expanded flat correction. Okay, so I've shown you the confluence of why I actually think a huge macro correction began in April of 2021 and not here, which is what a lot of analysts look at. Okay, so basically from that point, the confluence that I've had with you for many years and I've been showing you is the XRP chart. Okay, so basically from here, this is where a macro correction began in both of these charts. Purple is XRP, Bitcoin's index. Okay, so A wave down, B wave lower high, B wave higher high, which is basically a bull trap. Then this leg here was your C wave. This was your C wave. This is why at this point I said to you I expect XRP to come up and actually make all-time highs of the cycle, okay, in this last leg here for Bitcoin, in this impulse. And this is something I've been looking at with yourself for a very long time. So right on cue, you know, XRP is running to the resistance of the all-time high, continuing range, looking to go again. If it goes again, then right on cue with Bitcoin coming up in this last leg, okay, boom, nailed it, absolutely superb. And we're looking at this for a very long time as confidence that the true correction began there and not there for Bitcoin. This is something I said to you. I actually think that this is just a corrective phase here before a final leg to the upside where I expect XRP to make all-time highs with Bitcoin of its last cycle, basically. So this is my primary focus at the moment, and we've nailed all this. So typically what we do see at the end of the cycle, you know, we have some kind of A wave rug, lower high B in Bitcoin, then the huge crash and correction, which is your typical A wave. Okay, just like it was here, A, B, C, that's your A wave, fizzles out on a B and then boom, drop in a C. And this was this leg here is no different from this, and then the drop C is basically this. Okay, and that's it. You know, basically for me what I'm looking at right now is really simple. We don't see it in the current time frame. We don't see the total 2 chart doing exactly what it does in every single cycle to, you know, spell the end of the cycle. If you take a look, what we've seen so far on this correction since December is basically come up at the same time, drop in total, and it's not popped to the upside, where Bitcoin, you know, is struggling to pop to the upside. So we've not seen it. Now in time, if we do start to see something like this from the purple line, comes up like this, and Bitcoin breaks out, gets to these levels and drops, and then we see something like that, total 2 drops, and it continues to break out, and Bitcoin does that. And, you know, and total 2's breaking out, and, you know, you've seen a waterfall and a dominance, then yeah, you know, we're over, we're out the market. Bitcoin is entering that trigger point that, you know, typically triggers a massive macro correction, and with that your alts get absolutely smashed. So we just don't see it yet. So my primary at the moment is we've not entered the bear market, just relying on the structural data of what we've seen in previous bull markets. So again, you know, there's no bias, but that's just the structural data that I'm relying on. But so far in this bull market for Bitcoin, from this bottom here, the 5-wave counter, you know, the 5 waves of death video that I made for you, we've nailed this. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we're in last wave territory right now, where we could actually get to these targets. We've already smashed my 1.272 target in 96k, which was a minimal target I gave you way back down there around about 15k. It's done incredibly well. But right now, if it continues, 1414, $117,000, and the 1.618, $157,000. So if we look at this previous impulse here, so from this low, breaking out to this high, we took out that high. Where did that impulse get to in that previous impulse? It got to the 1.618 from the bottom all the way to the top. 1.618 macro correction. So right now, if we attack the 1.618 in this cycle, it's doing exactly what it did in that cycle. But we want to see the total 2, you know, print that characteristics of the top where, and I relay this to you, this comes up, comes down, total 2 comes up, comes down and breaks out again. That's your alt season. We just don't see it. I hope you understand what I'm talking about. It's just pure data and structural data that I'm looking at to say, okay, the top's in. So between now and then, if we see Bitcoin break out over the next few months and it taps at 1.618, the top could actually be in. But we want to see that characteristic, you know, in the total 2 chart right there, and obviously a fall in the Bitcoin dominance. So I'll leave you with that. I wish them most luck going forward. So at the end of the day, I just don't think Bitcoin's entered the bear market at this current time frame. Obviously the price structure will reveal that in time, and I think possibly it's coming. Take care everyone, back to an update on Bitcoin. Stay healthy, stay strong, stay tuned. Bye bye.